About You. I'm Connie Hogan. I have with me today some very interesting subject matter that I normally don't get into in my show, but I have a mother-son combo, which is Linda Schinkel and her son Theo, or Teddy, or Theodore. Whichever
works.
he will go,
It
he'll
all,
answer
it all,
to
it all
any.
works.
But it was so interesting. We had a previous show, and we were so fascinated by the kind of the financial aspect of the art that these two create. So we want to start there. We want to start with the NFT side that we were talking about, because it's the wave of the future, and a lot of people have lost a lot of money. A lot of people may have made a lot of money. But start and tell us a little bit how this represents the NFTs that you have.
Yes. So, well, thank you, Connie. So, yeah, I'm glad we're able to get into it a little bit more, because I really wanted.
Complicated.
Yeah, it was a little complicated, but just let me kind of just set the stage, if you will. And again, so the whole thing about the NFTs or non-fungible tokens is just the way.
Non-fungible token. Say that again for the audience.
Non-fungible token. So it's a way to authenticate digital items, right?
Okay.
So it could be. I mean, you could use something that's say like as a membership card, or let's say like a ticket to a concert. These things could be NFTs too. It's just a way to, with the blockchain technology and a bunch of equations and what have you, it locks in and then protects and says, okay, this is this only said digital item.
And he works with someone who's a computer expert that he happened to grow up with.
Yeah. No, it's Jacob. Yeah, we.
And we wouldn't be doing it without Jacob.
Well, no, I would be, but we would have had. I would be, but I wouldn't have the same kind of confidence that I then
That's a good word.
So that, yeah.
Because I know I don't. So
that certainly is a big part of it.
Jacob and his father have their own computer company that
Here,
they're actually
locally,
in the process,
okay.
of selling, but they're still keeping him as a consultant. He's very intelligent, and they knew each other when they were kids.
I got to speak with them pretty soon. But so just think, okay. With these non-fungible tokens, you think about it like a rare baseball card or something.
That's a good.
And then if you want to sell it, on eBay or at auction or whatever, you don't just go ahead and take a picture and list it. You have to send it out to an authentication agency. I know like PSA, I think is it Professional Sports Authority or anyways, PSA out of California. They're like the #1. Grading authenticators. And so you send out to them, they send it back, in like a hard case saying this is like a, gem mint 10, or this is like a grade 7, or whatever have you. So think about, minting or creating an NFT is very much similar in that sense.
I know this was in the news. Was it Mickey Mantle's card or someone where they went over all this, and we were like, wow.
Yeah, I mean the big stuff. I know, and I know like, and again with when COVID came around, collectibles kind of had a very big, Well, it basically came up, and then now it's kind of the market's kind of settled a little bit. I know with my brother, us going through and sending out a bunch of Pokemon cards to do the similar type of thing. But again, you have to get those things graded, and. So just think about them in that sense. And
so the NFT then. So what you're saying is the NFT then authenticates it. Is that what you're saying?
So that's why you could say, okay, how is this digital asset?
Yeah.
It can be the same thing, the files I can see here over there. Well, no, because
you're going to have ownership to
this says that this is authenticated as that original asset. And it's the same thing as, for like a trading card, you could make a counterfeit card. You could make something,
that was the whole.
You could make something that looks the same, but it's not authenticated as being the original. So that's kind of how the NFT technology works. I know, Len, and so with my background, before I started working with my mom, I worked in the film industry, really just doing, lower level production assistant, type of things, just working on sets. It'd be, some television, some commercial, a couple different, feature films, nothing too major, but definitely, but that, that's what I went to school for. I was, economics and cinema major. And then with our working with projections is something that I always really wanted to do, projections and lighting. And lighting our work, being that it's reflective surface, is
it's really an integral part.
It's how you really bring it to life.
It's so important.
It's how, just
they have an
lighting
Academy
in general.
Award for it, right?
All lighting, of course, all lighting is important. But in particular with our work, we actually list photons, which is light, as part of part of the elements of our work. You list what's involved. We'll say aluminum, photons. Light really is an element of our work.
Yes, exactly, yeah. And then, so that was always a big thing. And then I always wanted to mix in like projections and video. But for the longest time, I didn't have other than just doing kind of like, set design and things like that, there's no really outlet to monetize this kind of, digital work. But then with this, this NFT, application actually then allows me to create these, moving digital, art pieces, and something then you can sell and people then collect and make a catalog of.
Yeah, and what we do uniquely is combining our analog, our physical work with the digital.
Well, yes, that's the thing. It combines, so the NFTs for us combines all these things. It's this physical, hand-created, piece of work, and then, with then the, mixed lighting, and then.
So it's not like somebody else could.
But it wouldn't have to be like. Just theoretically.
Sure.
It wouldn't have to be.
No.
You're monetizing. It would be like see if this is correct. It would be like buying part of or buying into ownership of a major painting, and you would own that.
Yes.
In a way.
Well,
this is NFTs for dummies.
So, well, yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. No, I know.
We want to know our audience.
It's good.
It still is a very, esoteric,
it's
concept.
It's very confusing.
Yeah,
I know a lot of my friends are like,
well, that's what I'm saying. Just think about like trading cards, right?
That's such a good analogy. It really is.
Just think about, particularly NFTs in the way of art as in trading cards. You want to, you have like a set or a collection that you want to then, if you're a collector, you want to have like the entire set. And so that's the way that we're thinking about it. So, for example, like this, one of our mirror pieces.
Which is what this is.
And we have other examples of that we'll be able to see, is that it's okay from this one design, you can then light it however you want. And then in the layers, or in the layer where the mirror is, you can put any kind of animation inside of the mirror.
Wow.
So from the one physical piece, you can then make, how many unique, digital, combinations. But for us, what's different is normally, NFTs or as it pertains to artwork, they're either just a copy of a physical piece, just like a photograph or just a replica of what the physical piece is, or it's a digital work that's just entirely then created. But for ours, it's a combination of the two things. And
one of the things we're going to do is that people will be able to, because we're going to have just a very limited, like 3 to 5 number of
then make
prints.
Prints. Yes. Then prints of the NFTs. So then if you own the NFT, you'll then be able to have large-scale prints. But then
so you
where you would make something out of it.
Yes.
I could picture that from the pictures you show me from your, your digital. I mean, I can just imagine how beautiful that would be.
Yeah.
The green, the trees, that one in particular.
Oh, great.
Because I do love trees.
Yeah. So you would have, let's say you purchased the NFT. So you could say, I want, and we would go through which one you want, so we print that for you, and other people won't have that.
Right.
So like every day you'd see
That's how
that
there's control over
print.
it. Right.
Yeah, every day you'd see that print, but then like, let's say you're having a party, and so then you set up, and then people, and it's on a loop. People can see your,
well, I mean, you have
your digital art
or
projected.
you just put it on your screen, and then you just let that go.
Put it on, do it.
And that's the thing, dude. Now, art, and how to properly view like digital art, which is only going to be more and more of a thing as we go into the future.
That's why it's so incredible.
And so that's why it's so. Then with adding this NFT work into the catalog, it really kind of, it not only just makes things full circle, it aligns us with the future of
the future of art, really, right?
And the trajectory of where that's going. Absolutely, but it's built upon classical techniques and methods that we've with the metal work. I mean,
because our metal work really is a combination of classical techniques plus science, or plus technology. Because we use technology not only to help create the original work, it's a combination of maybe our photograph and our different things that we'll find digitally. We create digitally, and then we create on the metal by hand with tools. So we use workman's brushes as tools, because we feel like we're from Detroit.
Like
this was when we were thinking about
it. Great representation.
It's a lot of like auto mechanics tools and like woodworking tools.
That's crazy. Yeah.
But for example, like I specialize with like the bigger tools and textures and such. And my mother, she is very talented, drawer and painter. So she'll use like the Dremel, like the Dremel tool. Those it's kind of looks kind of like a paintbrush or that kind of a design, anyways. And we have like 30 or 40 different heads or attachments that we'll put on.
And we've actually
on the
taught
texture.
this to others.
I was going to say that would be fascinating.
Which is really fun. So we won a big award in California in 2013, which is Best of Show for Art, Innovation, and Design. It was right on Santa Monica Boulevard. It was
totally see that.
run by the city of Beverly Hills, California. We didn't know a soul, and I was so moved when the show director came and said to show up at center stage at 2:00. I knew we'd won like one of the big awards.
Oh my goodness.
I told Teddy, I said, if I have to speak, I'm not going to be able to. I was so moved.
Well, there wasn't too many people there when we were receiving it, but it was kind of funny because, there was other awards that were given out, I remember beforehand, and then,
So on Saturday, that was it. So on Saturday, they gave a lot of shows. So it's run by the city of Beverly Hills.
Wow.
They give away shows, and it's included a stipend. It was the only award. We've won a number of awards. This is the only one that had a stipend. So when we didn't win an award on Saturday, I said to Teddy, we should have won something, because I had no clue that we'd win Best of Show.
Oh my goodness,
for art, innovation, and design.
Yeah,
which
that's
really
what we won.
is very well
That's
fitting
really
for us.
saying something though, for that area especially. More so.
And
it was actually called the Lincoln Award. So I don't know if Lincoln, probably they monetized it, they supported it. So here we were from
what was the name of the show? The
Beverly Hills Art Show.
Believe it or not, I have friends there
2013.
too. Wow.
Yeah, 2013.
Oh my goodness, have a look at that.
Yeah.
You were just full of so many
and after we got that award, then like a couple of sales that were kind of on the hook.
For sure.
They all fell through. I remember that definitely.
It definitely
momentum
helped us.
of that helped out quite a bit.
Helped out quite a bit.
Well, that's very prestigious.
And then we come home and Cranbrook learned about it. So that's how we got the commission. Yeah. So a board member learned about it. She connected us with the director of the Science Museum. He commissioned us to do this piece, and the piece is still there. It's 11 by 5 foot piece in the Science Museum.
Oh my goodness.
And we're talking, anyway, there's some other things bubbling up. But then because of that, then Country Day hired us as visiting guest artists, and we were there for a couple of months and worked with all of their middle school art students, and that piece is still hanging there. And that's a 45-foot hanging piece that is
mobile.
comprised, it's a mobile, basically, comprised of over 120 pieces.
Yeah, independently rotating pieces.
And then we donated our time to to create in the city of Detroit.
I was going to say, you have something in Duggan's office.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that's the piece that we
This was.
donated to the city, and they were so happy about it that they did a video on us. When I called up and I said I wanted to donate this, and they're, oh, well, that's fine, but we can't guarantee any PR. Well, they were so excited when they saw it. They're like, bring the video up.
Well,
They
Ike
made a
McKinnon,
video.
yeah,
McKinnon.
That was the deputy mayor. Is that the right title?
Yeah. He loved it.
I think I think
He's retired. Yeah, he retired after that.
Oh, Ike McKinnon.
Yeah. So the
Yeah.
cool thing is, it's still there, and people say that art just doesn't stay there that long.
No,
It's been
well, I
since
know that it was
2015.
supposed to be like a rotating location, and I believe it was one of the directors, if I'm not mistaken, from CCS had a work there, and they moved it, for ours to have the
right there
primary
when
spot.
we were there.
But again, so so this Cranbrook installation, then the Country Day, and then to this piece in the mayor's office where we worked with. It was what was the
Central
school?
High School.
Yeah, Central Collegiate Academy.
on
And I don't know if
Tuxedo.
they still call it that.
They call it Central.
But again, and so this is kind of and it's funny, coming into this. So before the Cranbrook piece, something we would do at our art shows is that we would have this display panel or this sample panel. So we would have like a bare piece of metal with a couple of our smaller, simpler tools, and we let people go there and kind of and try it out themselves and
And
just
they
see how
loved
it
it.
worked. And
Wow, I
then
bet.
just seeing how then engaging it was to them. It was always a big hit. So that's when we got connected with Cranbrook. We
So
said
that gave us the idea of working with others.
yes, and so
And
then
we loved it because, Cranbrook, that was involved with the charity Kids Kicking Cancer. And then coming around full circle,
Okay.
after then donating our time at Central High School, we said we should start a charity, which we did, a 501c3 called Conceptions Connect.
Okay.
And we had a couple of things lined up, and then COVID hit. So we're going to circle back to those. Probably once we've been focusing now on renovating our space and all this new work that we're doing now. We'll circle back because that's,
I just saw where Kids Kicking Cancer had their big gala. Was it at Cranbrook?
I'm
I don't
not
know.
sure,
I think they
but
did just
that's
have that. I think it
wonderful.
might have been, yeah.
it's a great charity. But that's, we feel that that's an important part of our work is sharing it with others.
Well, this is a small town relative to,
Sure, of course it is.
Miami, and especially, as you know, it's how we know each other in the
Sure.
philanthropic arena. So it makes sense that your products are just so unique that you would be tied into so much stuff.
Well, and when you see how much it can do for others, it's very exciting and rewarding.
Now I want to talk a little bit. This caught my eye because I watch a lot of A&E and I love
Yeah.
interventionists.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I shouldn't, but that is so definite.
yeah.
But it's so good, though.
Yeah.
It's so good. So they have one. I didn't know this. The Startup Factor.
Yeah, so we
So
were
talk about that. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, so we were selected. So A&E. So we were going to One Spark. So One Spark is it's a physical fundraising space, and it was in Jacksonville,
it was
Florida.
supposed to be
Okay.
the first crowdfunding festival.
Right.
Right. So kind of like if you're familiar with Art Prize that they have, in Grand Rapids, and now it's
Okay.
it's biannual, but
Okay.
it was known as the largest monetary
I've
art
heard of
prize
it,
or
yeah.
award for for artworks. And the thing is, it's all about, and now the way they do the voting has changed, but it's always been either like a public vote has always been a big a really big part of it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And
So what's amazing
that
is,
was, and this One Spark festival was kind of, similar, akin to that. But as you then vote, then there's actually physical dollars, and that was allocated.
and
with
it was a big festival, and we were the one that A&E selected to be in their documentary called The
goodness.
Startup Factory. We're the only artists in The Startup Factory, and the other people in that documentary, which they call a doc, in their doc, were not people from this One Spark. So
Okay.
they saw us at One Spark, they saw what we had submitted, they loved our work. And one of the things that they love when you see the clip that they include with us, they interviewed us there, you see the people
watch that.
working with the metal, and you see how much they enjoyed it.
Wow.
Yeah, that was again.
That was very exciting working
That
with
was,
A&E.
yeah. I mean, they're the thing
Yeah.
with stuff like
The
that.
evolution of that, So that's
Yeah.
always been a big thing. And then again, and we got that idea from Actually, it was.
Started with Art Prize. We had the panel at Art Prize.
No, it was when we were at Red Dot the first time in Miami.
Okay.
It was the anodizing artist.
Oh, right.
Sure,
he
had
did that.
The panel, and then we got that idea from him.
Yep.
And
See, we learned from the art. We really, along the way. That's what Ted say. Along the way, people have helped us. We've learned. We've had our eyes open. And they say that it takes a dozen years before you're an overnight success.
10 years. I think you'd always say 10 years, a dozen years. Well, it's been 10, 10, 12 years now. So
we're excited.
You're ready, right?
The time is right.
Right.
And it does seem like with all the inquiries that we've been receiving lately, and even people who bought early, they're saying that there have some maybe clients, people who had these in their offices that are interested in our work.
Right,
so
we're
starting to get much more interest. One of the things too is we were really early to the metal space. Metal's becoming much more popular now.
Probably because, like I said earlier, the contemporary look, the what do you call it, industrial look of stuff. It's just that would fit so well with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, this is all so different from my business world.
Sure.
Which was working for GM.
Sure, of course.
We don't really get into.
That's
well,
okay.
I mean, there is creativity.
But they funded that
at
Lincoln.
the design center.
Of course, and they funded that link. So I mean,
they
GM,
did.
of course, is wonderful.
They
but
yes.
the cool thing is, and we pay attention to what's going on. We read a lot and try to figure out basically what the is happening in the market. There's nobody else doing what we're doing.
It is. It's so unique.
So
I've never even heard of it.
Interesting to see when we're in Miami now. Now Ted went to Art Basel last year just to see all the work, just to see what was going on. Of course, last year things were just starting to come up after COVID, and he said he didn't see anything like ours.
Really?
So it'll be great to see.
Also, Miami is very much a crypto town. I know.
Really?
Yeah, it is a crypto town.
So that's why it's a good place to debut our
NFTs.
NFT
Mark
collection.
Cuban, I think, is big in crypto.
He is.
Yeah, he is.
There.
He is. I know.
He's there.
I know Austin is another town.
Yeah, Austin is there too.
Yes.
He's there. Yeah.
But that's a place that people are been moving to. Miami and Austin. That's.
Doesn't it make you feel like such a bumpkin being in Detroit? No. Well, I'm speaking for myself.
I mean,
I don't want to be. I'm just.
It's middle America, countries, not including Miami, but things like Austin or like Nashville. It's like if you're trying to leave like the East Coast, you're leaving California. Those are places
California's kind of dying.
Are going to. But the thing is, but Detroit, particularly in Miami and also New York too, it has the good kind of reputation.
Oh, for sure.
It really does.
It has its own.
We'll continue.
Yeah, it has its own distinct flavor.
In the art world, it definitely does.
And you can't, like they say, you can't rewrite history, and we have the history.
Exactly.
We're big.
Oh, yeah.
We're
exactly.
big.
I mean, I was born in Detroit. I was born just not too far from where our studio is.
Right.
And my parents met on Belle Isle.
Right.
And my father, I feel, he was our mentor in many ways because he not only was he a bookkeeper, he was the leader of a dance band. So he used both sides of his brain. So I come by it honestly when people say I'm very balanced, which is unusual for an artist. Usually one side dominates, but people meet me and they say, you're so balanced, but I'm like, well, I'm like my father. It's like to me, it's normal.
But when you say Miami is a crypto town or Austin, exactly, like if you were saying this NFTs for dummies, say, what does that mean? Because they're
what does that
town.
mean? Well,
you've got people like you all going down there, and being in there.
Well, it's something that's more
melting pot,
more top of mind. I think the people that have done well with investing in crypto, those are places that they have
that would make sense,
that they have flocked to, right? And so it's like there's different I know there's been different weekends and not just seminars and conventions that are it's crypto, and then I think Miami is a little more NFT because of the art implication with, and so the thing we're going down to is now we're going to be in the Aqua Show, but I want to mention it's part of Art Basel. Art. So it's really called, people call it, and generally it's Art Basel Week or Miami Art Week, because from Basel, Switzerland, that's kind of the granddaddy of contemporary shows.
Right.
And so they've had Basel, Switzerland, and then Miami, which was, and Basel, Art Basel, Miami, and now Miami Art Week. It's the largest contemporary art event, in the West, in the Western Hemisphere.
Right.
Yeah. So there's people from all over. When we're trying to decide which works to bring, it's like,
There's a lot of people from around here, and I'm tracing my brain to think of who, but there are people around here that go.
Sure.
And I can't think of who. But yeah, it's just huge.
Sure.
I mean, it's just so exciting.
And it's the 16th year, 16th, 17th,
Yeah,
something like
it's
that.
a while, yeah.
Something like that. I know there's a Basel in Tokyo, but because of things going on over there with the government and pandemic, that hasn't been going on. But I think they just had the inaugural year of a Basel Paris.
Okay.
So that I think just
really
happened,
huge,
and
it did very well. And this was only a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So we're hoping certainly that people and the market's soft, but we'll look at our work as an investment.
Okay.
And it certainly has been for the people who bought early on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is a perfect segue because we are running out of time again. It's hard to believe, isn't it? But I think we covered a lot of your history.
I think yeah. Now we're at a good point.
Now you're at a good point.
Now we're at a good point.
So you've lost your voice. So thank you guys for being here. And again, good luck. I'm so excited about Miami, though. We will have to come back and do a redo after the Miami at some point.
Absolutely.
Later down.
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys. Thanks. We hope you enjoyed this version of About You.
All
Thank
right.
you.